back again for another episode of Unpopular Opinion. I am Jay, JD, J-Dub, JW. Some of you know might know me as one of those or all of those, but back again with another episode of Unpopular Opinion. We got some things we're gonna talk about today, and we're just gonna jump right into it because there were some things that was brought up in this episode. Because I'm a big fan of the show. Shout out to Cam Mace and of course Stat. You know, wait a minute. Let me say it right because I know how Cam always corrects that. But I'm gonna introduce the lady first. Of course, shout out to Stat, but shout out to Mace and Cam. You know, got to get the order right. All right, but we talking about what we talking about. Let's see what we're doing.
That's better, Nick, on the grill. Let me fix that. Sorry about that. Yeah, man, I'm apologize to the fans in Cleveland, everybody who thought I was coming. Had a little setback, but I do apologize. But it was sensational, man. It was a great weekend of women's basketball, man.
Yeah, it was a very, very great week of basketball. Some hating going on, but we're going to get into it. I sensed a lot of hating. I ain't going to lie. I did.
Right,
I don't want to call it all hating, but yeah, there definitely was some hating going on.
It was.
Let's get into it then, man.
Yeah, definitely want to know your thoughts on that. But first and foremost, we're just going to start with the game overall. So South Carolina defeated Iowa 87-75. What did you guys think of the game, and what did you think would have been a better story? Caitlin Clark winning the national championship or South Carolina remaining undefeated?
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a really good one. I think as South Carolina going undefeated is a great story. You know, to me, it seemed like it's the beginning of a dynasty down there in South Carolina. Shout out to Don Staley and that whole team. And even the freshmen, her freshmen are phenomenal, yo. It gave me the feeling like they were actually able to do something that the Fab Five was supposed to do. So, I mean, there's a lot to take from this game. And I don't want to be too long-winded because I want to come back with some more points. But just looking at the game and looking at what Caitlin Clark was able to do, she got a regular 30. But if you was asking me what would have been a better story, it probably would have been a crazier story for everything else that she was doing historically this year to leave out with a championship. But, I mean, I didn't expect her to beat all of them by herself, but I did. I don't know if that makes sense. You know, like I wouldn't have put it past her if she was able to pull it off. Pause. It wouldn't have been a surprise to me.
A better story for white people is Caitlin Clark. A better story for black people is Dan Staley. Pardon me.
Don Staley, yeah.
Don Staley, pardon me. It's a better story for black people. Look, I cheered for pardon me. I cheered for Iowa all the way until last night.
Can't be butchering words, y'all. But he know it and he roll with it. But that's why we rock with Cam, because Cam is authentic and genuine, man. He keep it 100. He keep it a buck. He keep it 1,000 wow.
I want to see Caitlin Clark do everything. It was amazing. I was rooting for it because I like watching greatness. So I rooted for Caitlin Clark until last night because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be straight up honest. I said, enough's enough. This white girl can't run through the bracket like this. It's just getting ridiculous at this point. It's just me personally as a former black athlete. And no disrespect, whatever. As a former black athlete, the buck had to stop last night. I ain't gonna hold you, my nigga. I was sitting there like, I rooted for this girl from the beginning of the season, middle of the season, end of the season, the beginning of the tournament. And then when she made it to the championship, I said, nah, because it's black on white crime, white on black crime, however you want to put it. See, her against Paige in Connecticut, that was white on white crime.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I'm going to pick a white on white crime situation, I'm going with Caitlin. I like Caitlyn's attitude, but it's sort of like when you watch Family Feud, you even if you don't know the black family, you root for them. Even if they say something stupid, you just go for, if you black, you go for the black family. If you look at this game, the starting lineups, it's 4 black girls on South Carolina and one white girl. And on Iowa, it's 4 white girls and 1 black girl. Let's get it. Let's get it. The difference in the game, honestly, though, is that the depth, is that you see the depth that South Carolina had, man. It's just, they played 9 players, a lot of minutes, too. The lowest person, 1 person didn't play. The other 4 people off the bench, lowest 14 minutes, 18 minutes, significant amount of minutes. Just putting pressure, and they outscored them 37-0. That matters. That matters when you got that kind of depth. And Dawn Staley really was like, she got 2 starting fives. She trusts everybody at any given moment. So it goes to speak to the depth of South Carolina. But to answer the question, Stat, it depends on who you asking, because as a black man, I'm going to go with the black story. As a white person, this is what I will say. America, if you wasn't around for Larry Bird, younger American, this is y'all Larry Bird. Dirk Nowitzki don't count. The Joker don't count. Luka don't count. You have a homegrown American white athlete that's a superstar. It's been a lot of white athletes since Larry Bird, but none of them been American. Dirk Nowitzki, it don't matter who it is. They wasn't American. And America been starving for a superstar white athlete for years. And to be honest with you, I haven't seen anything like it since Larry Bird. So, without all the
Larry
racial
Bird
shit,
killer?
And I'm gonna jump in right there because to answer the question, what was the better story? It's no question. It's no debate that the better story is the story of perfection, people. Perfection. The University of South Carolina women's basketball team sealed the deal. Capitalized on opportunity with the punctuation mark, exclamation point to close out a season perfect, undefeated, unscathed, no L's, all W's, all wins, no losses. That is the story. So Cam, he has the good take on, you know, the black versus the white story. Mace, he has a good take about, you know, Dawn Staley. But the one thing that we have not mentioned is the story of perfection. I want y'all to think about this now. They went 37-0. They went like 37-1, or they may have went 38-0, but undefeated. Last year, the only loss was in the Final Four to Iowa, which was made it that much better for them to come back and face them in the championship and beat them to close out the very team that stopped them from getting, or at least competing for the perfection for the championship last year. It's the very team they had to beat outright and go through to get perfection, to achieve perfection, to reach that pinnacle. All right. Now, the main reason why this is the better story, this is the story. There have only been 10 teams in the history of women's basketball that have gone undefeated and won the championship. Only 10. Only 10. Now, how do I want to put this? Well, I just do it this way. So we know there's only been 10 teams, 10. I'm sure 10. 10 teams in women's basketball that have gone in the field. Do you know how many schools have gone perfect, undefeated? Out of those 10 teams, how many of those schools, how many schools are represented in this rare air, in this rare class? 5, y'all. 5. Only 5 schools have had an undefeated season. And I know some of you may be like, wait a minute, whoa. let's dig into this. I got your attention now, I'm sure. All right. So, South Carolina just did it. They joined they were the 10th team, and they are the 5th school to do this, to achieve perfection. All right, most recent. Okay. That's the 5th team. The 4th, Baylor. Okay. All right. The next team, Texas. All right. The next team, Tennessee. All right. And the 5th team that I'm naming, because I didn't put this in no particular order. I don't even know if I started with the most recent. I don't know if I got the ones in the middle correct, but bear with me now. That 5th team, UConn. You probably knew that. The University of Connecticut Huskies. Yes. The very team that Mo C was pulling for, well, the very school that Mo C was all in on for the guys and girls. Yes. Those 5 programs have gone undefeated. And I want you to think about this now. So we said only 10 teams have done it. 10. Only 5 programs have done it. South Carolina has done it once. Baylor has done it once. Tennessee has done it once. Texas has done it once. Okay? So that means that UConn has done it 6 times, people. 6 of them things. 6 times perfection. You can go Google the years and put everything in the order that they occur and all that, but just think about that. So that leads me to my next point. And we're going to get back to the show. I was glad that it played out the way it played out because, of course, Iowa eliminated South Carolina last year. But also, I felt like if UConn, with the history that comes with UConn, with Gina Ariama, with him still being the coach, and he's the best coach in women's college basketball. He is, because he's won the most. He's had the most success. There's some great. Don Staley is a great coach. Great coach. She's won 3. Go look up Gino's stats. Go look up Gino's record. How many times he's been in the championship? How many times he's won a championship? How many times he's been to the Final Four? How many times he's had an undefeated season? So one of those things about UConn, I felt like if they would have beat Iowa and they got in the championship, they had a very good opportunity to win. I'm not saying they would have won, but they could have very well came and showed up and we would be having a different conversation today. Because UConn, they have that history. They have that winning pedigree, that championship pedigree that they find a way to win. Now, it was a few calls that were questionable. It was some no calls, it was some blown calls. You know what I mean? There was a lot of things that happened, but I feel like ultimately it played out the way it should have played out. And the better team won on that day. And we had the best team to win on this day when South Carolina and Iowa played. But just some of those things. And from this first topic, that's the unpopular opinion. UConn would have had a better chance to beat Iowa. I'm just saying. I still would have been pulling for South Carolina. I messed it up. UConn would have had a better chance to beat South Carolina. I still would have chosen South Carolina for the win, but I feel like those two teams matching up for the championship would have been an even better game than Iowa versus South Carolina. I'm just saying. And shout out to Stoke, because I know Cam brought up the 4 white girls and the 1 black girl. Stoke got game, you know what I'm saying? She got game. Iowa got game. They got talent. And shout out to Iowa's coach, because she do her thing, man. Hey, shout out to her, you know. But let's get back to it.
Hold on real quick, man. I'm gonna get back to that because I want to put my disclaimer real quick. I don't want this to sound racial what I'm saying, or like I'm discriminating. I've been rooting for Caitlin Clark, but us as Black people know the truth. What's on the inside. Pause. You're not gonna go against the Blacks. Like, if you looked at that stadium, it was literally Black against white. It was Black people over here, and it was white people over here. It almost reminded me, and I know Snap probably didn't see it, she's a little too young, a Harlem Nights murder when the Black nigga went to fight at Harlem Nights and the white people jumped up when the white nigga did something, and the Black people jumped up when the Black nigga did something. It was that type of vibe, man. So I'm just being honest, but Caitlin Clark's amazing talent. Not only that, she lived up to the hype. There's been a lot of pressure on this girl. I'm not going to sit here and say from the beginning of the season, even though it has, but midway during the season, you got to beat that. She's what, 100 points away from breaking this record. Oh, you're 10 assists from breaking that record. Oh, you could lead the school NCAA in scoring completely. Oh, you may lead the NCAA tourney in points completely. It's a lot for her to carry, and she lived up to every single moment. Like I said, there wasn't much more she could do. You go out on your shield scoring 30, to be totally honest with you, and no disrespect to the rest of the team, for her to get here is crazy. For her to get here with that team is crazy, man. So salute to Caitlin Clark and the rest of the team in Iowa. But yeah, Murder, let's talk about it. Who's the white superstar since Larry Bird? American.
That's what I'm thinking, because a lot of times you look at them, and then when you do the background, you're like, they're not from America, you know?
Yeah, you think about it. That's what I'm saying. When you sit here and really think about it, basketball-wise, I'm not going to put baseball and anything else. I'm talking about basketball. And a white American superstar has not been here to this hype or potential since Larry Bird. If you really sit there and do the math, and I ain't really even ready to argue about it. I would like for you to tell me somebody who's even close to, you know what I'm saying? Because I thought about this, but not even with Caitlin Clark. Just over the years, how much America would love a white superstar that is from America. It would go crazy, bro. If niggas had an Ant-Man, a Trey Young, who else somebody said, a Ja Morant, a Luka, a SGA, a Joker, do you know how much their success would be heightened because they're from America and white? Even though I name Black players too. I'm just saying, any of them on the rise superstars, I'm saying all stars with potential superstar assets if they're not already a superstar. Do you know exactly how much more their celebrity would be celebrated being that they're from America? And not only that, Caitlin Clark from Middle America. She from Eminem land. So when you're from Middle America, they love you because Middle America feels like that's the last of America when it comes to white people.
Yeah, she's actually from that lifestyle.
Exactly.
And I think when it was all said and done, Don Staley then was looking at it week after week and said, "We're gonna put an end to this." Now that would have been my whole theme of what I would have been saying in the locker room. Tonight that ends. It ends with us.
Yeah.
Maybe they wasn't bold enough or forward enough or aggressive enough to get this done. But tonight we're gonna stop all that Caitlin Clark stuff.
And then Sorry,
It
mother,
seemed
go
like
ahead.
that's what they went out to do. I mean, but she had a gang load of points, man. When you think about it, for her to finish with 39.51 for a career, that's almost that's right there, 4,000 points. That means she's been killing all her years. And then it's not like it just started this year. So that's a hell of a career to have down there in Iowa. And I think Dawn Staley echoed that when she kept saying she lifted the sport, but then she started saying she's gonna lift the WNBA up. So I don't know. We're gonna have to get into that a little later.
Yeah, man. Big shout to Caitlin. But yeah, look, when you're coaching, you don't want to look ahead of teams, and you don't want to say we're going to beat them. But I agree that was circled on the calendar. But not only that, what you got to realize is this was a revenge game for South Carolina
Yeah,
because
last year.
Caitlin sent them home last year in the semifinals. So Dawn Staley, wasn't just about South Carolina against Iowa. This was about Dawn Staley. Pardon me, I don't know why I keep mispronouncing her name. Dawn Staley against Caitlin Clark and her coach as well, because she's like, yeah, I got a whole new group of bitches, pardon my language, whole new group of females, and we ready to get crazy. Nigga, was good, whole new staff. Because it was even dope to see the girl, I'm so mad I can't think of her name, who graduated from South Carolina last year, who was hosting on ESPN during the game with the rest of the girls, but she was the number one pick, I believe, last year out of South Carolina. And even before she started doing an interview post game, to see her tears, to see her joy, to see her emotion, because it was like good. I wasn't a part of it, but I'm here from when my young girls got y'all.
Yeah.
I'm with all that. And then, ironically, they're probably going to be teammates. So, man, I can't think of the girl's name, but, she plays for the team.
Aaliyah Boston. Yeah, because she's on the Indiana Fever, which is
right,
also the first pick for the WNBA draft. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I was going to say, how
She's
ironic
gonna be
is that?
friends. She's gonna be friends with Caitlin next year.
Right. But also, while we're still on this, I watched a lot of commentary over the weekend because it wasn't just last night. Even Friday's night game where UConn was a thriller, was a great game.
Yeah.
South Carolina got North Carolina State out of there fairly easily. But I was watching Diana Taurasi, and they was talking about, they're all UConn players that was kind of talking. And when they beat UConn, they was giving Caitlin mad praise and everything else. And, he's a little disappointed that UConn lost. But they asked them, I remember Scott Van Pelt said, is there any word that you want to use, Diana Taurasi, that is? And I don't know if our fans are familiar with Diana Taurasi, but she's a monster. She went to UConn and got busy and gets busy in the WNBA. When they asked her, what do you have for the young girls coming into the WNBA? She looked at the camera and said, reality. And she said, it's levels to this. She said, I'm not saying Caitlin's game or anybody else's game won't translate in the WNBA, but it's a course. It doesn't happen that easily.
Just to jump in right quick, man. I was so glad I was able to find the alternate broadcast because I couldn't focus on the game. It was distracting with the Sue and the Bird and Taurasi show because you had Sue Bird down in Taurasi and Snoop Dogg and the other woman. Her name slips my mind at the time, but it was kind of distracting. And the thing that got me was like, okay, we know Snoop be crippin', but at one point they went to the break and Taurasi was throwing up 20 crook. You know what I'm saying? Like, she crippin' too? I ain't know that. Y'all, educate me.
And her exact words, it's levels to this. So he said reality. And the great thing about this is that we don't even have to wait that long. The WNBA
this
season
is like 2-3 months.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna see about all that early. But as far as what you said, Murder, to make my last point, is that when Dawn said that Caitlin's gonna lift the WNBA
Yeah, she
more,
said that.
I've seen it. She's 100% right, because what's going on is this girl is getting NBA postseason views. She's getting playoff views on a women's college game, which has never happened before. So therefore, now television is looking like, oh, she could draw this many millions. She could draw this many millions. And I don't know exactly how the contracts work in the WNBA. Maybe I'll do some due diligence on it this week. But if she's dictating how much the WNBA, can make on television games because she's going to be playing, I don't know. I don't know. We gotta figure out the budget for me, because if I'm Caitlin, the big three is waiting for me.
Yeah,
Why would
$5
I
million.
stop?
$5 million to go play for Ice Cube.
Yeah, 5 M&Ms is waiting for me. So why would I sit here and take 100,000? I know I got my endorsement, so I'm gonna make 5 million anyway. But 5 + 5 = 10. So I don't understand how this is going to work moving forward. And the reason Don Stanley said that is because next year the WNBA's contract is up with these TV deals, and they have to renegotiate. And if you got Caitlin Clark in the WNBA, that's a big deal, because eyes are going to be on her. I don't know how her staff, her parents, whoever, her agent runs her business, but this is the time to start figuring out the cheat code. I don't know how it's going to work, because I don't have to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Ice Cube will need security if he get on the big three, because he'll be messing up a lot of money. He'll be messing up a lot of money with her going to the big three. Can you imagine, like, the day that she signed with the big three, what it'll be like for television? Because they're all banking on her to show up with the #1 pick, you know? So if she doesn't show up, that could be a new wrinkle in the whole system. Exactly what you're saying. So this is going to be really interesting.
Very interesting.
This is the time where she needs definitely a good agent. She need a good agent. She might need Michael Jordan agent. She needs somebody. Where's Rich Paul at, man? Rich Paul need to be snatching her up, man.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not on it.
Yeah,
he got he got Juju Watkins, so I gotta talk to him about it.
Yeah, Juju Watkins ain't Caitlin, but I feel you. She could be. Let me not put my foot in my mouth.
I'm about to say Juju Watkins got another 3 years. She was actually second leading the women's in scoring this year. Gino Auriemma told her, get out of here now. He said, we don't need you around here fucking UConn shit every year. Get on out of here. He told her to leave early. So she's not Caitlin now, but she definitely has potential.
So also adding to this conversation, because this does lead to deeper conversations, right? So Caitlin Clark will be leaving college without a title. Do you guys believe she needed one to really become considered the GOAT of college basketball?
Absolutely not. She had 3,951 points. I mean, and she's always shown up on the grand stage. This is one of the things that I really like about her is that she's never really not showed up. You know how with most players that have a storybook career, they end up going out on one of those games where they didn't perform as well. She even ended with 30 points against a super stacked South Carolina team. I mean, and she was wearing my number, Stat. What you want me to say? Greatness comes from that number. Me, Clyde Drexler, Caitlin Clark, and the list goes on. I can't even, I'm not even going to get into this with Cam. I see him turning his face. Jim Jackson, Michael Redd, you know, in the list.
Yeah, but the very player that Caitlin Clark waved off did put them clamps on and limit her efficiency, because she did have 30 points, but she took 28 shots. So, you know, it wasn't a very efficient showing for her.
Mace, and the list goes on. I was expecting it in my number. I may have left something in the number, you know, pause.
Bunch of niggas who ain't win nothing. Everybody you name. All fell short.
True too. That's true too. All niggas got right there. They got right there. You right too.
Clyde won. He cheated with the Houston.
Yeah, Drexler won, but Jim Jackson, Michael Redd.
Clyde ain't get his. Clyde ain't get his in Portland though. He cheated and went down to Houston for a minute. Look, to me, I agree, man. I ain't counting no championship to make her the GOAT. She didn't have the weapons on her team. Look, I'm not gassing it, man. I do not know how she got to the championship, man. I really don't know. I have no idea. That, and Mace makes a great point. She didn't shy away from.
Man, I know how. She's a phenomenal talent. She's a remarkable talent. They're a well-coached team. They have a really good coach. And they have a good collection of talent. They have a good cohesive unit. They play well together. Now, I don't know who's going to be that volume scorer come next year, but that system fit Caitlin Clark. And they have shown that because they have won consistently these last 2 years. You know what I mean? They've gone to the championship. They've lost, but they have gone to the championship. They, they had a unique system with some great skilled players and a generational talent, but they count on some Buffalo Bills stuff from back when Jim Kelly was playing.
In a moment, man.
Any
Didn't
of the
shy
moment.
away. You know,
And
it's a
then
lot
Killer,
of time.
It was a lot of niggas who came pause through the Division I for her to even pass niggas on the God side.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Look, like I said, stepping up to the plate when it matters, matters, man. You know,
True.
I was watching some clips over the weekend, and LeBron was talking about how it was his fault against the
True.
Dallas Mavericks
True.
series in the championship.
Well, we're gonna skip ahead right quick on that note, man, because they did talk about Caitlin and Clay. It'll be interesting to see because I do still feel like Clay got a shot, and maybe they can redeem Clay. But we know that Phil and Murder is not trying to see that. Mason Cameron not trying to see that, man, because Clay has fallen off, man. But that's what we're gonna get to right here.
Still, keeping his transfer eligibility. He will work out for and visit NBA teams and make a draft decision based on evaluation. How do you guys feel about him even entering the draft and the decision that he has made?
I would love to talk to a few guys that work in the NBA that are like away or outside of the camp that he's a part of, so I could get more of a fair assessment from their vantage point. Because from like Cam says, the eyeball test, I mean, he's gonna make the league definitely because his dad has said in 2022 that wherever Bronny goes, that's where he will be at. So I think there's some validity to that. And I think anybody's looking into this off season is got to be considering that. If we get LeBron, we draft his son. Not only do we get LeBron, but we get a storybook ending. You know what I'm saying? Like no matter where he played at, this will be one of those places that'll have a lot of fanfare. It raises the ticket sales. It's so much money and so much Paul's eye candy with just a dad being able to play with his son. It's something that's never been done. I don't think I ever seen that. So I know there's people that have played with their brothers. There's people that play with their cousins, Pauls, but we've never seen it. So whatever franchise get to host this event, because it'll be an event every day, because it almost will be like he's playing, but he's coaching his son. He's almost there rooting his son on. I mean, the pitches alone will be worth a lot of money. So
I'm just gonna jump in right here. Basically kind of being a little long-winded, but yes, it would be a storybook ending. Yes, it would be great for business, the NBA business, and whatever franchise that is able to draft him. But here comes the unpopular opinion. One thing about it is, I feel like Bronny is not as good as people would like him to be. He's skilled, he can play the game, but he's not just this great off the charts talent. Yes, his father was that and still is that because he has had the longevity to, sustain this historic career. Now, Bronny came out of cardiac arrest, glad and grateful he's safe. However, I'm thinking that there's some team, I'm just going to say it, some team may not want to run the risk of having him or having that liability. They don't want they may be more fearful of what could happen negatively than potential of him just bouncing back, But in my opinion, the unpopular opinion, because it's the name of the show, is what we're doing. I feel like Bronny's trying to straddle the fence. He didn't get the agent so he can have that eligibility because I feel like they are trying to really weigh out all their options and see and kind of think about every scenario and how it could play out. Because let's say that for whatever reason, the Lakers can't get him. Because I was speaking to my brother and brothers like, oh yeah, he gonna make it to the league. The Lakers gonna draft him. because everybody say LeBron the GM and all that, and he makes decisions, so on and so forth. But for whatever reason, let's say the Lakers can't get him, and another team wants him. That's when he's going to try and double back and say, "Oh no, I don't want to go there because it is there, and it's not where my father wants to be either, as well as himself. So I'm gonna try and go to another program." And another program probably will bring him on. I know they referenced Ohio State, but let's say another program don't necessarily want him, and then he could just be limited to not that blue chip type of program or that top tier program. It can be a second tier program. But once again, going back to my other point, he may not be the talent that will transfer to that next level that people are hoping him to be. And one thing about it also, LeBron playing with his son, it could very well be one of those situations where, okay, if he goes back to college and LeBron tries to play 2 more years, because he's going to have to play the next year and the following year in order to play with his son, who's to say that it may be just that point, that time when he's just like, okay, I've done this enough. I wanted to, it just didn't quite work out, and that's that on that. Or is he gonna really try and hang around and kind of diminish his legacy by staying around too long? And then furthermore, this is my last point. With, let's say Brian goes back to college and he doesn't get with a top tier program, and LeBron just ends up leaving the NBA before he gets there. We don't have that show up again. But this is the final point. I feel like since I led with, I don't feel like he's just that next level talent that people are hoping that he would be or should be or making him out to be. He could very well end up going to a team, and it may just be that, nothing but selling tickets, packed out house, but this team is not even competitive. It's not even in a big market necessarily, you know what I mean? Or he could very well get to a team if he goes lower in the draft, because, those lower draft picks, they can kind of take some things, but they may want to shuffle the deck and move them around. But anyway, kind of got on the tangent, but this is my last point. He could very well, since he's not the talent that people are making him out to be, it could very well be that he plays with his father and he retires with his father.
I think him going in the portal is just something to say realistically, but I think him going to the NBA is a foregone conclusion because his draft stock can't get any lower than what it is right now. But I think he could do well in the NBA. I don't put that past him as well. I'm just giving the facts about where we are today.
Yeah. It's been done not in basketball, in baseball. Ken Griffey Jr. and his father played together before, but not in basketball. But it has happened in baseball before. Look, these are some smart businessmen manipulating the whole system. When I say that, I'm talking about whether it's LeBron James, Bronny James, Rich Paul, Maverick, Savannah, his little brother, whoever else we don't know, UTA. I don't fucking know. But they manipulate the system to the highest level, and I don't knock that. This nigga's entering the draft while still staying in the portal. So if the draft don't go right, and a right school need a good guard still at this point in the year or whatever point in the year they get to, you have the option to say, oh, nah, Ohio State, they cleared out at point guard is good, or Michigan cleared out, or North Carolina, Duke, or whatever.
Yeah.
You still have that option while still having the option to go to NBA. See, and every time we talk about certain shit, I always hate to be like, because I used to be that 19-year-old, 20-year-old nigga be like, I don't want to hear all that shit what niggas used to be doing. But sometimes you got to hear some of this shit. Now I understand where he's coming from. You know what I'm saying? Because you had to go through that that ain't really our problem, my nigga. So with that disclaimer, what I'm saying is, when I played in the 90s, once you applied to be in the NBA draft, you couldn't go back to college. That rule changed a few years ago. I don't know, I mean, maybe 10 years ago now. I don't know how many years ago it was. But to the point where even if you get elected to go in the NBA draft and you don't like it, you can go back to school now.
Yeah, Ricky Rubio.
So Ricky Rubio went back overseas, but now you have the option to go back to school, and it's even better because you're probably making NIL money anyway. So it ain't like you're not saying you ain't gonna make some M's, but you like, I'm making enough to eat anyway. I'm not talking about just Bronny. I'm just talking about the system.
Yeah.
The system is wild to where back to Bron and his family and Bronny, the way they manipulate it to the highest level is amazing because a lot of people will say LeBron, and some of the stuff I probably wouldn't have did LeBron did neither as a player, but I understand as a businessman. You know, LeBron sits there, goes to Miami, delivers 2 championships. See Kyrie is doing good. He said, listen, let me go back to Cleveland, get this championship I promised them. In the meantime, let me GM this shit too. I don't want Andrew Wiggins. Give me the Kevin Love nigga. That nigga, yeah, the Kevin Love nigga, I need him with me. So now he's GMing, playing, calling the shots. Now the owner got to kiss his ass because remember, LeBron didn't leave on good terms with the owner. So now LeBron got everything in the palm of his hands because the owner, like, that's a miracle this nigga even came back because I told this nigga to kick rocks basically when he left the first time, delivers the championship, goes to LA, gets to LA, opens up a successful sports agency with his right-hand man, opens up a successful production company with his left-hand man, and they're getting mad money all in the family, and now they're manipulating the NBA situation with his son. Look,
yeah.
I asked Mace, how you know Spanish? Pause. The nigga said he had the answers on his fingertip. What you think I'm mad at that? I'm mad I ain't think of
it. Yeah, and now the nigga got now his wife, not that she needs it at all. I mean, obviously, but now she's gonna do the podcast and he's doing the podcast, so they're gonna also control the narrative.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You cannot control this any better than LeBron James. Say what you want to as a basketball player. He's not Jordan, whatever you want to say. Nobody has a better business resume. Maybe Magic Johnson, but not. But after LeBron got the lifetime deal with Nike, and they threw him over we don't even know what that deal is. They just said lifetime deal. We don't even know. I think this nigga business acumen is amazing.
And it is. Okay, so the Sixers sat out Joel Embiid for injury management on his left knee. The Sixers still won 133-126 in double overtime. Tyrese Maxey dropped 52 points. But just in general, is Embiid's injuries becoming more of a concern for you, or do you guys think the Sixers can hold it on their own?
That's a good question. I think both answers are right. Not one or the other. I think both answers are right when it comes to his health. His health is definitely of concern. But you know, some people would say, well, it was their first time they're playing a back-to-back game since he's been back, and we're not ready to put that kind of rigorous thing on his body. But when you think about it, pause, he shouldn't be out there if he's not ready to play. And that's what I was speaking to earlier, that you're running the risk of hurting him again. And I don't think that's really worth it with the team that they have. It would be better if they let all of them ball out this year and then just come back next year. Their future will be stronger because of that. But if everybody's balling and you throw Joel Embiid back in there, then it's like you're bringing the ball back out of their hands again. So that's the first thing. So I think both of those answers are true, that they can ball out without him, and it's also definitely imperative that they pay close attention to what they're doing with his health. Because if he get any way hurt in the least bit, you run the risk of running another injured Joel Embiid all of next season, or at least for a bulk of that season. And then you ran the risk of losing 2 years that you could have won a championship, or at least got to the finals.
Yeah, sit the nigga out. If he hurt, sit him out. If you want to play, let him play. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm of the mindset of Mace is that if this was any other year, I would have the same exact mindset that Mace has. He's your franchise player. You don't need him hurting the whole next season. You're running the risk of that. All of those things are correct. But how many seasons we giving niggas? Like, God damn, how many seasons?
How many years is the process? That's what we need to be asking.
It's like 9 years, bro. It's like 8, 9 years ago, bro.
It started with Markelle Fultz.
Yeah, like, bro, we're not gonna sit here and say Well, we're running the risk. Well, run the risk, man. I'm tired of this nigga with the process. And give him one more. Run the risk, bro. Run the risk, my nigga. We gotta run it. We tired, bro. We can't. So we gotta wait all summer, then a whole another 82 games for you to say, maybe this might happen again. Run the risk for me. But you listen, you were talking at absolute general manager's mindset, a player looking out for a coach, GM, president looking out from the organization, doing what's in the best bet of the organization. That's 100% correct. I'm talking from a Philadelphia fan point of view. Fuck all that. Run the risk.
Run the risk.
I don't got time, yo. I don't got time fucking
next
with these
year
niggas.
He be talking about his contract almost up and he needs more money, and we ain't seen the process yet, man. Does anybody know when the process ends? That's the question. That's the big question. They say they trust the process. When does the process end? When can we collect?
Exactly. I'm sick of niggas that be like, yo, the joy's in the process. Where is the finished result?
Yeah.
Come on, my nigga.
I'm gonna come on, my nigga, for Dal Mori on this.
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep it 100 murdered, but you gotta realize is this, and it may sound funny and it may laugh, and it's not really a joke. The process started, Stat was 13, B.
Yeah, Stat.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, yo, Stat was probably 12 when the process started, bro.
Stat.
Yo, not risk running, bro. Run it, get out there, bro.
You was jumping double dutch still when the process
Stat just got
started.
the middle school when the process started. Yo, run
you
that
had a
nigga
lunchbox,
pause,
Stat. You had a lunchbox when the process started.
Yeah, the SpongeBob joint. That's what I'm saying, man. Nah, that nigga got to run it, murder. Nah, I can't keep letting it. Nah, we can't keep letting it talk about we're running the risk. I dig it. Trust me, I dig it, but yo, come on.
Run the risk, B.
Man, come on.
Is there money back on the process? That's what we need to know. Is there money back guaranteed?
That's when my man says city shit come in. I don't want to make sense.
Yeah,
I don't feel like making sense right now, mate. Run it.
Yeah, I would love to hear what Sin City got to say about this. Sin, if you're watching, let us know what you think about this.
Sin gonna ask, he ain't gonna ask nothing about this related. All he gonna talk about is why we don't talk more about the Knicks. Now, real quick, Stat, let me ask Mace a couple things. Look at Nick in
All right. As far as I'm going with it today, because I ain't studying them Knicks right now, man. Bronson doing his thing. Shout out to Bronson. Yeah. Jay Bronson. Legit. Cameron Mason said he won the best point guard in the league. They said he might be like top 5, something like that, but he doing his thing. But just to kind of circle back to what I was saying about the teams that have won. Won the championship with a perfect season. Well, wait a minute. Let me look at something right quick. I did want to just look at what Don Staley has been able to build over time. So this just a quick glance at what Don Staley has done. I'm just gonna go back to okay. She got there in 08, right? I'm just gonna go from 08 up to present. In 08, they went 16-16. Well, 07, 08, 16-16, 08, 09, I guess that may have been our first season. Well, 10-18, 2009, 2010, 14-15, 2010, 2011, 18-15, 2011, 12, 25-10, 2012, 13, 25-8, 2013 14, 29-5, 2014 15, 34-3, 2015 16, 33-2, 2016, 2017, 33-4. So look at that stretch from 2014 to 2018. They lost 3. 2014, 2013 to 2017, they lost 5, they lost 3, they lost 2, they lost 4. Okay, 17-18, 29-7. 18-19, they went 23-10. 2019 to 2020, 32-1. 2020 to 21, 26-5. 2021 and 22, 35-2. 22-23, 36-1. And then 23-24, 38-0. And she's come away with 3 national championships. Won a national championship in 2016, 2017. And they went 33-4. They won a national championship in 2020, 21, 22 with a record of 35-2. And then 23-24, 38-0. So that's a better story though, man. That's a better story. But getting back to my other point that I made, undefeated teams that have won the championship. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8. All right, let's make sure we get this right because I want to get the. All right, so here we go. The 86 Texas Longhorns, the 95 UConn Huskies, the 98 Tennessee Lady Vols, 2002 Huskies, 2009 Huskies, 2010 Huskies. So that's right there, 1, 2, 3, 4 Husky team. 2012 Baylor Lady Bears. 2014 UConn Huskies. 2016 UConn Huskies. And 2024 South Carolina Gamecocks. The Longhorns in 86 went 34-0. The Huskies in 95 went 35-0. The Lady Vols in 98 went 39-0. The 02 Huskies went 39-0. The 09 Huskies 39-0. The 2010 Huskies 39-0. 2012 Baylor Lady Bears 40-0. UConn Huskies in 2014 40-0. The 16 Huskies went 38-0. And the 24 Gamecocks went 38-0. All right, so shout out to South Carolina Gamecocks, Raven Johnson, Camilla Cardoza, Pow, just all of them, man. Don Staley, the whole program, SEC, you know. What can I say, man? Hats off to y'all. That's all I got for the show. We're gonna stop sharing, get back to it. I'm just gonna say my last piece, you know what I mean? So, unpopular opinion, we ain't been here for a while, but I'm getting back into my groove, man. What can I say? I'm trying to find that balance, that rhythm that I can make it work. So, y'all just bear with me. We got more content to come. Until next time, this is Unpopular Opinion. Signing off.